Assessment of intelligence. Intelligence, we all know that it is defined as the ability to learn, reason, solve problems, think abstractly, comprehend complex ideas, adapt to new situations, and learn from experience. There are several different ways to assess intelligence, including intelligence tests, cognitive assessments, and neuropsychological evaluations. These tests are standardized. That means they are administered, scored, and interpreted similarly for all test takers. Before going to the details, please remember to subscribe this channel if you are new here. Do watch other videos in this channel. Share it with students and those who love learning psychology. Thank you. The history of assessment of intelligence. The assessment of intelligence has a long history, dating back to the ancient Greeks, who believed that intelligence was related to the size of the brain. It was not until the late 19th century that scientific attempts to measure intelligence began to emerge. In 1905, Alfred Binet and Theodore Simon were commissioned by the French government to develop a test to identify children who were likely to have difficulty in school. The result was the Binet-Simon Intelligence Scale, which consisted of a series of tests designed to measure a child's intellectual abilities such as memory, attention, and reasoning. The scale was later revised by Lewis Terman and became known as the Stanford-Binet Intelligence Scale, which is still in use today. In the 1920s and 1930s, other intelligence tests were developed, including the Wechsler-Bellevue Intelligence Scale, which was later revised and became the Wechsler Adult Intelligence Scale. These tests were based on the idea that intelligence was composed of several different factors or abilities, such as verbal comprehension, perceptual reasoning, and processing speed. The term intelligence quotient or IQ was given by the German psychologist William Stern in early 20th century. The use of intelligence tests became increasingly widespread in the mid-20th century as they were used to assess military recruits during World War II and later become a standard tool for assessing school children and diagnosing learning disabilities. In recent years, new approaches to assessing intelligence have emerged. Forms of intelligence test. First one, verbal intelligence. It is related to solving language-based problems using the information one has gathered. The verbal intelligence test includes, first one, vocabulary. It includes questions that assess an individual's ability to define words or to use them in context. Then analogies. This may include questions that require an individual to identify relationship between words and to apply that knowledge to new situations. Then comprehension, which may include questions that assess an individual's ability to understand and interpret with written passages. Next is non-verbal intelligence. It is related to solving logical and visualization problems where language is not required. So in verbal intelligence, it is a language-based assessment, and non-verbal, here language is not required. It includes pattern recognition. This includes questions that require an individual to identify patterns in visual stimuli, such as shapes or colors. Then spatial reasoning. It includes questions that require an individual to mentally manipulate objects in space or to visualize objects in 3 dimensions. Then visual memory. This test includes questions that require an individual to remember visual information, such as the position of objects in a sequence or details of a complex image. The third is performance test. These tests mostly involve the solution of certain patterns or solving problems related to concrete material. Performance tests are designed to assess an individual's ability to complete specific tasks. It often involves hands-on or visual spatial activities. The example of the performance test include Ray-Osterrieth complex figure test, Bender visual motor gestalt test, and Wisconsin card sorting test. Now let's see the types of intelligence test. First one, individual test. In this type of test, one individual is tested at a time. Individual intelligence tests are administered one-on-one with a trained examiner and typically involve a more in-depth assessment of an individual's intellectual abilities. The examples of individual intelligence tests include Wechsler Adult Intelligence Scale, Stanford-Binet Intelligence Scale, Woodcock-Johnson Test of Cognitive Abilities, etc. Next is group test. In this type of test, a group of people is tested at the same time. Group intelligence tests are administered to multiple individuals at the same time and are designed to assess intelligence quickly and efficiently. The examples of the group intelligence test include Cognitive Assessment System, Kaufman Assessment Battery for Children, Otis-Lennon School Ability Test, etc. A detailed separate video will be uploaded on these various tests. Importance of intelligence test. Intelligence tests are important for several reasons. It includes identifying the strength and weakness. Intelligence tests can help identify an individual's area of cognitive strength and weakness. For example, if an individual performs poorly on a verbal comprehension task but excel in a spatial reasoning task, the result of the test can help guide interventions or accommodations that support the individual's unique cognitive profile. Then it helps in education planning. Intelligence tests can be used to identify students who may require additional support or accommodation in the classroom. For example, if an individual has difficulty with working memory, the result of the test may suggest that they require additional support or accommodations such as extended time on test or preferential seating in the classroom. Next is clinical assessment. Intelligence tests are often used in clinical settings to assess individuals with cognitive impairment or intellectual disabilities. The result of the test can inform treatment planning and support interventions to address cognitive deficits. Then employment selection. Intelligence tests are sometimes used as a part of the employment selection process to assess an individual's cognitive abilities relevant to that job. For example, an intelligence test may be used to assess an individual's ability to think critically, problem solving, and how they communicate effectively. So these are the importance of intelligence test. So in this video, we have learned the assessment of intelligence. We learned the history of assessment of intelligence, then forms and types of intelligence test. There are various types of intelligence test. A detailed video on those tests will be uploaded soon. And we have learned the importance of intelligence test. Hope you liked this video. Please share and subscribe. Thank you and keep smiling.